We all have to sign them too, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so, you guys okay signing these as we're going along? Passing them around?
Yeah. Expedite.
Okay, I call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Evening, everybody. And, those of our viewing audience, first item on our agenda this evening, minutes of November 1st. Mr. Prisco?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the November 1st, 2010 regular meeting minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. We have the regular session of November 15th. Mr. Prisco?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the November 15th, 2010 regular session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Any discussion?
So what was that date, the 15th?
No, yeah, 15.
Is that the one you wanted fixed? Or was it the first?
No, it goes, it's one of the early ones.
It's coming up.
On the motion, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? We have the executive session of the 15th November. Mr. Prisco?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the November 15, 2010 executive session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Next is minutes of our December 10th special meeting.
Sir. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the December 10th, 2010 special session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Correspondence sheets, pass them down. Yellow sheet, you got anything?
No, I don't have anything tonight. I'm good. Thank you.
Anyone here for public comment? Okay, we have a public hearing scheduled for 7:15, so why don't we meet with John? You're going to take less than 10 minutes?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The RMLD is going to start into a meter upgrade, which will be a project that's going to extend probably 2.5 to 3 years. And what the general manager has asked the 4 representatives from each community to make a public presentation to their respective boards. We want to get this out into the public as soon as possible, and so that everybody is aware. North Reading is going to be the first community to start this project. We're going to start with our apartment complexes first. It'll start in North Reading, move to Wilmington, and then to Reading. It's going to start the first week of January. We have 7 apartment complexes here in North Reading. It's going to start with Park Colony, the North Reading Colonial Condo, which is 15 Main Street, Roland Place Condo, 28 Main Street, Greenbrier, 258 Main Street, 270, and then to Edgewood Apartments. These meter upgrades are going to be anything that is over 2 years old in installation. Once meters reach a life expectancy of 15 years, they're pretty much passé. These new meters are also going to be energy efficient, and as we move into the residential, which will probably be in the spring in the warmer weather, everybody is going to be notified either through the local papers, through mailings, and by individual residential street addresses as we move from street to street. All the apartment superintendents and project managers have been notified in North Reading that we are going to start. As we move into the residential, they're also going to inspect the meter boxes where the meters are actually installed into. Those that are real old and that are in tough condition. The residents will be notified, as well as the respective building inspectors. Once you get a meter box that becomes rusty, has gaping holes in it, it can lend to other problems. We don't expect too many of those, but where we do find them, again, the residents will be notified and the respective building inspectors will be notified. All of our personnel will wear proper name tags and will be, everybody will be aware that it is an RMLD employee. This is not a contracted service. It will be our own service personnel. The interruption to service should be less than 5 minutes, and in most cases, it'll probably be 1 to 2 minutes. Again, when the residents come home, what they'll find is that they have a microwave with a clock on it. It'll be blinking. But again, everybody will be notified prior to their changeovers. This is a project as part of our ongoing aggressive maintenance project throughout the system. We've upgraded a lot of other areas in the system, and this is part of the infrastructure progress. Again, we hope to have it done within 2.5 to 3 years. The entire project over that period is going to cost $765,860. Again, it'll be done, that's a portion of what that has been appropriated already for this current fiscal year. These are not bonded projects, they come out of the rates. So everything that we do now is strictly through the rate. And just as a side note to the board, it's more representative to the town of Reading because they're the actual bondholders, but our financial accountant notified us at the last meeting earlier this month that the RMLD now is debt-free. Our last 2 bonds were paid off. They were the bonds that went respectively to the main facility on 230 Ash Street and the substation in North Reading over here behind the DPW complex on Chestnut Street. So we are now a debt-free entity, and everything that we do from now on in our capital venture will be strictly paid through the rates.
John, can I assume, based on what I think I heard you say regarding any resident, or I would assume it goes also for owners of some of these apartments, that if in fact the electrical box that the meter is inserted to needs to be replaced, it'll be the responsibility of the homeowner or
That is correct.
facility owner?
That is correct. The only place where we see this would probably happen will be residential, because their meters are exterior. We don't expect to have any problems with the apartment complexes because they're all inside the buildings. The reason we're also starting now with this project inside in those complexes because you're outside, you're inside of, not having to work out in the elements.
Will they change a meter if the box needs to be repaired
Yep.
anyway?
They will
And then
they will
they'll-
repair the meter. They will replace the meter. That's correct.
So it won't result in a power outage while
No.
a homeowner scrambles around to get
No.
an electrician to repair the box?
No. And we've already had that question asked. That's one of the reasons why the general manager wants to have the 4 respective boards kept in the loop, because we've already had some questions from residential people. Are we going to be without power 2 or 3 days, or whatever? Again, the answer to that is no. The changeover is 5 minutes, and in most cases, probably 1 minute to 2 minutes.
Okay. Other questions, Sean?
John, any issues that residents need to be concerned with concerning power surges? Well, electricity shut down and then turned back on with electronics, whether it be computer, televisions, or anything
No.
like that?
No, it won't affect. That's why everybody is going to be notified up front, so that if anybody feels there might be a problem, they can address it before the meter changeover takes place.
Can you repeat what is the responsibility of the town notification requirements? Do we have to get the word out?
No.
No.
This is one of the reasons why I'm here tonight. So again, it's out in the public. It's
Okay.
before our respective board. Again, what the RMLD will do is we begin to do the residential. The apartment complexes have already been notified.
Right.
So their respective building superintendents and management companies already know. Once we start into the residential phase, we will begin to notify through the local papers, and each resident will be notified as well by contact through an RMLD employee prior to the changeover.
It's probably worth us putting a news and announcement out on our website, right? I mean, if you have a write-up that John can give you.
Yeah, it would be.
Good. Thank you.
Greg, you'll,
If they
See ya.
forward us the information, we'll be happy to post it.
any other questions for John? Thank you, John.
While I do have the mic, I would like to thank the board for my reappointment, and I would also like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for stepping up again.
Okay, the next item on our agenda, seeing it's on or about 7:15, is a public hearing, and I will read the notice of the public hearing, and then we'll open the public hearing. In accordance with Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws, a public hearing will be held by the Board of Selectmen in Room 14, Town Hall, 235 North Street, on Monday, December 20th, 2010, at 7:15 PM on the application of Great American Tavern, LLC, DBA, Great American Tavern for a common victualler all-alcohol license to be exercised at 303 Main Street, North Reading, Massachusetts. Restaurant is a one-story building with seating capacity for 200 people. Entrance and egress located in front and the rear of the building. Signed by the Board of Selectmen. The requesters of this, is there a spokesman that come up for the,
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman. My name is Michael Newhouse. I'm counsel to the Great American Tavern. I have with me this evening a paralegal, Darlene Randoni, who's actually put together the lion's share of the paperwork in this matter. Also have with us two of the principals in that company, Robert Palmer, who's the prospective manager of the company and a 25% shareholder in the company, and Mr. Charles Mulick, who also is a 25% stakeholder in the company. And he's one of the two point men in terms of the build-out and the construction of the facility. I do have a butters notification I'd be happy to provide to the chairman, your request. In terms of the application, I think it's, paperwork speaks for itself. In terms of the facility itself, the plans that we had originally provided were a little bit tough to read. And that's a spot where you gentlemen can see that. Get the floor plans here also.
I think
We
we
have
all have
one.
copies in our packets tonight.
We have copies, yep.
In terms of the facility itself at 303 Main Street, historically, it's been used as a restaurant all alcohol license location in the past, formerly known as Danielli's, for many years, and then prior to that, I believe it had been the Barnside. We believe that all the requirements of Chapter 138 have been satisfied, both with respect to the public need and with respect to the qualifications of the applicant. With respect to the facility, I know the public notice had indicated as much, but just to reiterate, it's a one-story facility with capacity to accommodate 200 patrons by way of the restaurant, the bar area, and the function hall with the ancillary bar area. Mr. Palmer, who's the prospective applicant, has years of experience in this business. He's recently renewed his tip certification, which he's had for many years. Previously, he worked as a manager at a facility in California. More recently, he's acted as the manager of the Tanner Bar and Grill on Main Street in Woburn. One of the questions that the board might ask is whether or not we have looked at the location of any church or school in the neighborhood. In fact, we are aware of the requirements of Section 16C. There is, in fact, a church within 500 feet. But given the long history of the facility as it's been used in the past, and as we expect it to be used in the future, We don't expect any interference whatsoever with the spiritual activities of the church.